Welcome to the 5G Podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversations about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
Remnant 2.
Remnant 2 follow-up.
Yeah, so last time, this is pretty funny.
Previously on.
This is pretty funny, I think. Last time, the game had been out for a week, and you had played for a week.
A day.
You had a week of availability to play, and you had claimed that you had played for 24-ish hours.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sure I played for at least a day.
Well, it turns out, you texted me later that day, actually like an hour after I left.
Well, because that's what I did right after the podcast, obviously. Just went and hopped on Remnant, so...
And you sent me a picture. And that picture showed that you had 42 hours of gameplay. So you, like, in a 7-day span, you almost filled two whole days.
I was like, oh, sorry, I lied. It's actually more than 24 hours. Some of that might have been sitting in the main menu, just like, I was AFK, making dinner or whatever, but 42 hours on Steam.
That's hilarious.
It's the update. It's 48 hours now, at least. Maybe I didn't play as much. These past few days.
It's only been a few days since we recorded.
It's only been a few days, but
I know. How many hours did we play? We played for what, 2 hours?
Yeah, probably 2 hours the other day, Wednesday.
Yeah, hour and a half maybe, because I had those technical issues for 30 minutes maybe.
Your Windows, I think, just overwrote your video drivers. That happens.
It was very frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I got into the game and I was like, this is unplayable.
They don't tell you, yeah.
No.
That happens every so often on mine, too.
So, yeah, I had to reinstall my driver. Or update it or whatever.
And after that, worked fine.
But,
play.
So, what is your take? Last time we said we were giving it you were giving it high marks, and I was giving it medium marks.
Yeah.
What is your continued take?
It's still good. I haven't even beat the game yet, so I don't think I've scratched the surface of what I can do in this game. But I'm getting to the point of like I'm comfortable with my customization, with my build. All the unique things you can do in the game to really make your loadout come together. I'm comfortable with that, and I'm on the final world, the final level, so to speak.
And this is your solo.
Yeah,
solo
playthrough. And it's still good. It's still fun, and I can already see, like, on the solo playthrough, like, I can play through again on a harder difficulty for a higher challenge. Or again, I can do different builds. I can try out different things. They just had an update that actually lets you respec all of your trait points, all of your passive skill points, just whenever you want. So again, I can just redo that and try something new. There's still tons of hours of co-op left for me. I'm still pumped. It's still really good.
Nice. Have you've unlocked all of the different classes you can be now?
Not all of them. There's one that you get for beating the game the first time.
Sure.
So I know I still have that one because I've heard about it. It's like the farming class. It's really good at just getting money and materials.
Sure.
So they give you that one after you beat the game. And then there's the one hidden class. I don't know if we talked about this one last week. It was really cool. It hearing some of the news on it made it, to me, it felt more like a nostalgic sort of retro Easter egg, because that's something that old games did a lot. It was just like hide things in the game, because the game developers are like, yeah, we'll just throw this in there.
Sure.
But in the recent years with like data mining, it's kind of hard to put secrets in your game anymore, because everybody knows everything about your game before it's even released, because you can just data mine hackers or whatever. So the developers of Remnant 2, they leaned into that. They said, we'll put a secret class in the game that you can only find by data mining.
Oh, you can only get the class
because it's so random to find it in game that nobody would ever wander around.
You have to go into like this random corner, jump 17 times, and then
while wearing specific armor, and a specific gun. Like, they're like, nobody would ever figure this out unless you data mined it. like in the old days of video games like Doom or whatever, it'd be like, oh, you gotta like turn left through this invisible wall and then around the corner, or you got a Halo. Sometimes you'd have to like you got a grenade jump right here, to get outside the map, and like that's what old Easter eggs were. Where it's like, yeah, you could reasonably do that. Somebody would stumble across it and then like go post it online, or it passes between your friends before the internet. But so now they're like, we'll just put it deep in the data of how to get this secret class, and the class was hidden for about a week. Game came out, I think last Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays ago, and then it took them like a full week before like somebody found it and posted it online. Like, dude, I got the secret class, and it was pretty cool. So that one's called the Archon.
Very cool.
And it's supposed to be a pretty OP class. Some of the clips I've seen is you just like you start like your skill that you activate, you start hovering off the ground. You got like lightning storms around you, and you're just like chucking lightning bolts at people. It's supposed to be a pretty OP class if you can get it.
And the way you do it, the way you get it, you have to like surely you have to like have like
you have to beat the game first because you need that one class I mentioned.
Oh, the farmer class,
the explorer, I think they call it, for unlocking the game, and then some other class as well. And then you got to wear like these specific 4 rings. You got to have this gun and this armor piece equipped, and then you have to like go through this portal on this corner of the map, and you go through and you get the Archon or whatever. Yeah, the portal only opens if you have all of that equipped.
Oh, interesting.
In that order, and yeah, it's pretty.
And do they like write a story about like you like walk through and there's like one of the deities or whatever? Like
I don't know that per se, but all of the armor and rings that you wear, this might be the only thing where like maybe somebody could have guessed it without data mining. It's all relating to the character in game, Ford, who's like the old man that you meet at the beginning of the game. He's like the one of the story elements. He's one of the first guys who like worked on the interdimensional travel. So he's like he figured out like the secret of immortality like by doing that. So like he looks super old in game. Yeah, he was super old in the first game too, which was like 20 years before this one.
Yeah.
And he's just like travels across the dimensions whenever he wants to now.
And he's just immortal.
Yeah, he's just immortal. So it's like all of the gear that you wear and all the rings all relate to him somehow. And I think you have like his shotgun on or whatever.
Yeah.
The Explorer class is like his class.
Interesting.
And so then, yeah, you get probably his secret class. I haven't looked too much into the story, but that's how I see that connection.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
that's a great thing for the devs to do.
Totally. they leaned into it. They're like, we know we're gonna get data mined, so we'll just put in an Easter egg.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was super clever. I enjoyed seeing the news about it.
And that makes some hype for your game too.
Totally.
Like it's like, yeah, there's a secret class that no one knows how to get to it except you just have the data mine.
Yeah.
And then all of like the nerds who are gonna go data mine are like, well, I have to buy the game now to like
I gotta find it. I gotta be the first one.
Yeah. That's great.
Even some of the other classes in game are kind of hard to get, but it's like...
So how many classes are... You start with 3 classes available for you, right?
4. You start with 4. I think there's 11 or 12.
Oh, geez.
Total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's the 2 for finishing the game, the secret one that they had to data mine, the Explorer. There's the Engineer.
Yeah, the Engineer you find, the Summoner you find.
Oh, interesting.
The Alchemist. The Gunslinger was like a pre-order bonus, but you can't actually find that one later in game.
Oh, okay.
So I just found that one myself.
You didn't pre-order the game though.
No. Sawyer did, my little brother, and so he started as a gunslinger, and I was like, dude, this class is awesome. Like, you get the lever action rifle, and then your special skill is you do the it's high noon, the meme from Overwatch. You just like with your revolver and just instant like headshot 6 guys in front of you.
That's so OP.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So it's like, oh, gotta get that class.
Yeah.
And then I think that might be it. 4 plus the 2. Yeah, so maybe that's 10. Yeah, at least 10.
Very cool.
I could be forgetting one.
Very cool. So you're still a fan?
Yeah, still a fan. Love it.
Good. Yeah, I enjoyed our second playthrough. Not playthrough.
Our second
session much more than I enjoyed the first.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first. Don't get me wrong. It was a good time. the second time playing though, it was like, okay, like I finally understand kind of like how to aim.
You're getting a bit more comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit more comfortable. It's yeah. So
we solved some puzzles and whatnot.
yeah, that was a very simple puzzle. I was like, huh, you can take these out. How do you open the door?
They're called keys.
Oh. And then I was like, what is this random pool of water with a bridge to the center of it for?
Mm-hmm.
I went up there, I was like, oh, this is easy.
Oh.
Ding, ding, ding.
Was that the... Oh, it's a reflection. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That boss was a pain, though.
Yeah, which one was that? The
I don't know, but he summoned a bunch of ads, and he...
Oh, yeah, it was the big fat guy.
With the mouth and the mouth up his
face.
face.
Yeah, he was like a wizard or something, because he was like a necromancer, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. It might have been a necromancer, but he
was just like chucking zombies at us.
And he was like spitting
acid
fire and acid at us.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, yeah. He had a lantern, like magical fire.
Yeah.
And then spitting acid.
And because we're on veteran, they added like the buff to him or whatever, and his buff was just like, I have infinite health.
It's just healthy or health something.
Yeah.
More health.
Like, oh. And so I was like sitting there, I was like shooting him, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm hitting him for 97 each time. I'm like, that should put a dent in him.
Can't.
Oh, I've hit him 17 times, and it's taken like 1 micro fraction of his bar.
That is something cool about this game. It kind of screwed us in that scenario, but they have the modifiers that are randomly generated on each boss. And so that guy, he just happened to have more health. Which is unfortunate, because that's one of the things they changed from the first game, is that a lot of bosses were kind of bullet spongy. Like, they had too much health.
Yeah.
And they had to constantly throw ads in every boss fight just to give you more ammo. But this one, boss fights generally shorter, even though they're always different. This guy, we just got unlucky with that modifier.
Well, I ran out of ammo.
Yeah.
And like, I was like sitting there and I was like, well, I'm out of rifle ammo, so pistol it is.
Twiddling your thumbs, you're like, okay, I guess.
So
fix bayonets.
Fix bayonets. And
there was one boss that, just some random little mini boss we encountered, where his modifier was the vortex, right? He kept pulling us in.
Yeah, that guy was annoying.
And so, like, by the end, we were like, all right, screw this. If you're just going to keep pulling us in, we all fix bayonets.
I was like, because I'm playing the scout class.
Yeah, the hunter
class. And so I have like the sniper rifle and whatnot, and so he started doing that. And I was trying to like shoot, and then like I get like vortex over, and I like would run away and like turn around and try to shoot him, and then eventually he like pulled both of you in, and he was aggroed on both of you, and then I got pulled in. I was like, well, screw this, and just started hacking at him with the sword, which the melee in that game does a decent amount of damage.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty solid,
and you can even like build around that to make it even stronger. Like,
yeah, well, I feel like Colin is kind of building around that a little bit.
Yeah, his class is pretty built around that. The Challenger or whatever.
Yeah. I think we just got that flail.
Yeah.
Early game flail. And I can't decide if I like it or my sword more. Because the sword is much quicker.
Sure, yeah. That's generally what I've liked so far in the game, is the quick weapons.
Yeah. Colin uses that big old chonky,
like
serrated sword.
On my solo guy, I like this axe I use. It's just a small, like, Viking axe. It's pretty good, but then I can actually, instead of a charge attack, I actually charge it up and I throw it.
Oh, that's sick.
Like God of War. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It even does lightning damage. It's perfect. I'm just like
that's sick.
Thor.
It's like my New World guy.
Yeah, your guy did that too, didn't he?
In my New World, I had the throwing axe.
The throwing axes, yep.
And I think I had like infinite axes that I could just throw.
Yeah, it was just like your charged attack. Instead of blocking, you got to...
Yeah, that's right. Instead of blocking.
But you were kind of like a hunter type class in that one anyway.
Yeah,
so you were
pure dex class.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I increased my strength at all.
No
I think every time I got like a perk point...
Did you use the guns or the bows? I don't remember
both.
What you liked. Both, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I liked both. They had... Their abilities were so different that it was really fun. Like, I think when I was like... It depended on how much damage I was doing with the bow and stuff like that. Because like if we were just like out in the world doing stuff, I was using the rifle because it is slower.
Mm-hmm.
But it would like one shot most of like
damage.
the creatures. But if we were doing like one of the dungeons, I would switch to the bow because it did a good amount of damage, but it was also way faster.
Yeah, I got
harder to aim though. Because the gun has like
the arrows.
The gun had like very little bullet drop.
Mm-hmm.
It did, which is cool. arrows had arrow drop, had gravity.
They were affected
Gravity
by
enabled. So that made it a little bit more difficult for like longer distance shots, which is like why I liked the rifle. But
snipe.
Yeah. I should play that game again. That game is great.
Yeah, it's a solid game.
We should hop on that after we finish Remnant.
Yeah, after we're done with Remnant.
Because that's the first like MMORPG that I've ever played.
New World.
And like pretty solid.
Yeah.
I was a fan.
It's pretty fun.
I was a fan.
I never got to the expansion that rolled out. I think right around the time we started playing. It's all like the end game stuff.
Yeah, I never did any of that.
Oh yeah, I had a solo character that I just got to the end game, but then I like almost kind of burnt myself out.
Sure.
That was around the time we stopped playing co-op too. So
yeah.
Yeah. That was a good game. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All the weapons felt unique. The
yeah, they really did.
Like as you said, just even between the ranged weapons, the gun and the bow, like felt significant.
Well, there's a gun and the bow, and I think there's a crossbow as well, isn't there?
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
And then there was the hand axes.
Yeah, I love the difference between like the great axe to like the big hammer to just the great sword. Like that's what my solo character did, was all just like the biggest melee weapons I could find. But there was still enough like diversity between those. I was even like, oh man, like what do I feel like running?
Yeah.
And then co-op with us, I love the sword and shield. That thing was a blast.
You were tanky.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't know if you could die.
So long as I like keep my cooldowns up and running, I activate them at the right time. It was a little bit of like some resource management, but
that's what makes the game fun. If you're just a tank, like you can just like absorb. You
just god mode and walk through
like,
everything.
This isn't fun.
No,
I mean, it is for like the first 10 minutes. You're like, I can do anything, and then
maybe when I was 8,
it's like playing Minecraft in a creative mode.
Oh yeah.
It's like, like if you have like a project you want to build, it's like sure, infinite resources, just build a cool project, but like you're not gonna like go beat the Ender Dragon in creative. You just one shot it. You're just like, doink, I win.
Look, I got all the best enchantments on my sword, but you didn't work for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So Remnant 2.
Remnant 2.
Pretty
Highly
good game.
Recommend. New World. Also a good game.
Also a very good game.
Recommend.
A very good game. My wife even likes that game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Also, she says you're wrong about Zelda. About Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah?
In one of our previous episodes, she was watching it.
Your wife watches our podcast?
She does.
Wow.
She watches it while she plays games.
Nice.
She has her little tablet open while she's playing a game on her computer.
That's cool.
On her Switch or whatever. And so she texts me. I'm at work, and she texts me. She's like, "Trevor's wrong." I go, "That's all. That was what the text said."
Trevor's wrong.
And I was like,
"Okay,
what does this mean?" And she goes, about Tears of the Kingdom. And I said, "You're gonna have to be way more specific."
I don't even remember what I said.
So you made the claim or something like that in Tears of the Kingdom you didn't know why it was called Tears of the Kingdom or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And
is this the Tear of the Kingdom?
Yeah, exactly. She goes, "No, everything is called a Tear of the Kingdom. Like there's the dragon Tear of the Kingdom and stuff like that." So apparently there's like items or like missions or something like that are called the Tears of the. I don't know. It's just really funny that she like texts me. It's like, "Trevor's wrong."
Wrong.
And I go, "About?"
Sure, I'm wrong about many things.
It's just really funny how she presented it. I was like, okay, like
while she's playing Zelda too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Talking about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, she's playing Zelda and she goes, "Trevor's wrong."
That's funny.
All right. Well, so you have how do I want to frame this conversation?
Segue into speaking of Trevor being wrong about things.
You might not be wrong about this one though.
Okay.
This is just Trevor's opinions. This is a Trevor's opinions podcast.
Trevor's hot take. Trevor's opinions.
So we, as a friend group, have been discussing our next Magic deck building challenge.
Yeah.
And we've had we have a $20 limit minus the commanders, or or monocolor or tribal or like random tribal, like you have to build like only crabs, or only monkeys or some junk like that, right? which I've been going through the legendary creatures list and trying to figure out like I've just been going like
what would I do
if there was if I had to build a monkey deck, which one would I choose? Right? But we were all on typing on texting each other on Discord like, hey, so like here's some ideas, like what do you guys think, blah blah blah. And then you chimed in like a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is after our last podcast, I think.
Yeah, pretty sure.
And you were like, I'm never buying any more Wizards of the Coast products again.
That's it.
And I was like, well, that's a hot take.
Explain yourself.
And then so I asked you, and you said, and I asked you like, oh, you just mean like you're not gonna buy like any precons or like, but you'll like go on TCG Player and buy like cards for decks, and then you.
I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna buy printer paper and printer ink, and then just
proxy it.
Just print proxies.
All right, so let's go over that. Let's discuss.
I'm burnt out. Wizards of the Coast is just they've ruined me. I've been a repeat customer for so long, and
you've been playing Magic since you were like 4,
5 maybe.
Yeah,
but yeah, basically that was like the first time I held the cards and was like learn the rules from my brothers.
Yeah.
I remember random side tangent. I remember literally playing video games like while all my older siblings were away at school, and I had to go ask my mom how to spell the cheat codes that I wanted for that game. It was called Dungeon Siege. It was a great old game that was just about sieging dungeons and killing monsters. It didn't have much of a story. But I knew there were cheat codes in the game. I couldn't remember how to spell them. So and all my older siblings were away at school, so I'm thinking probably 5. Like,
yeah.
I'd ask Mom, how do you spell death? And she's like, well, why is my 5-year-old asking how to spell death? Like, Mom, it's a cheat code for the game. I knew the cheat code was Dr. Death. They gave me all the cool death magic spells that I needed to beat the game or whatever at level 1. So yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Side tangent. So maybe I couldn't read the magic cards at 5, but I was like I understood the games well enough. Yeah, I've been a repeat customer for that long, and it's just been like little bit by bit. They've just been hurting me. They've just been killing me. Wizards of the Coast. I'm not like a whale. I don't spend a whole lot of money on them anyway, and I don't think my boycott's gonna affect them or change the world or whatever. Nor do I expect other people to take a stand against Wizards of the Coast. But just this last thing with Commander Masters, which we've talked about, it's just blatant price gouging. That's the last straw for me. One of the first big ones was the Magic 30th anniversary event or whatever. What's a great thing we can do for all of our fans? 30-year anniversary. We will print $1,000 booster packs from the original sets of Magic that are worthless. They're fake cards for $1,000. Here you go. I was like, dude, come on. They're not tournament legal. You can't actually use them. But you might open a Black Lotus. That's the rarest, most expensive card.
But it's not a real Black Lotus.
But it's not real. It's got a I forget if it's got the gold border on it. They've done other like fake cards with gold borders, like for tournaments or prizes or whatever. But it doesn't have a normal Magic back. I do know that. It just has like a Magic 30th anniversary edition or whatever. They're not official cards. And you spend $1,000 for 4 booster packs to rip open, and you might just get... Well,
it's paper.
I can't even say you might get garbage. It is garbage. It's just paper. You spend $1,000 on paper. Like... So... That already started a lot of it in me of like, well, frick, if Wizards of the Coast can just print proxies, then why can't I? And then, Commander Masters, like I said, is sort of the last biggest thing. There have been a little things here and there, but the blatant price gouging of they've labeled this like, oh, this is Commander Masters, this is a premium product or whatever. So here's, we want new players to get into the game and old players to continue playing Commander. It's their most popular format. Here's the pre-constructed decks, that, again, are great for new players and old players generally because there's like some good value, maybe some cool new cards that old players want to pick up. But also for new players, you can buy a box off the store. If you don't know anything about card games, you go to Target, you buy a Magic deck and you open it and play. And they're usually good enough.
Yeah, I mean, almost all of my
Almost
decks are
all of
pretty
yours have
fun.
been, yeah, and that's kind of how most players start. Like my very first Commander deck was the first time they did Commander like 10 years ago. I think they call it Commander 2013. Was a pre-constructed deck. I bought one with my brother. We knew Magic, but we were like, "Oh, what's this format? Let's buy it off the shelf at an acceptable price." The prices they've been charging for Commander Masters are upwards of like $80
For 100 cards.
for 100 cards, and the value is not there to reflect a premium product.
Sure.
For $80, and that's minimum.
That's
two of the 4 decks are going for like $100 more than that.
Why?
Because people like the themes. Because it's the Slivers deck, which is a popular tribe, and the Eldrazi deck, which is a popular tribe.
Yeah, I know Eldrazi pretty well.
Those are 2 pretty iconic Magic villains. So if $80 minimum, but it doesn't get you any more value than the regular $40 decks. And the $40 decks are normally great value right when they come out. You know, they're not amazing, but you get your money's worth, and they're a good deck to play out of the box, and they're good for returning players. I've definitely bought those, and then I've upgraded them, and they're a lot of fun to play. I'm not saying these new ones maybe aren't fun to play. I don't really know that yet. They kind of just officially came out yesterday. But why pay $80 for that? There was no reason for the markup.
Because you could even go on to TCG Player and buy each individual card for less than $80.
Yeah, I double checked that with one of the decks, but I think that holds true for at least one of the others. Yeah, and then the other 2 you might like barely break even, if that. It's just hard because there's like the new cards. There's 10 new cards in each deck.
Sure,
that don't really have a value yet because they just came out.
Yeah,
but it's just a blatant scam, and I don't think it's like the game designer's fault. I'm sure it's just some executive at Wizards of the Coast. It's like, why don't we just charge twice as much? But again, they don't have an MSRP. That's been another one of my straws. Is last year, I think Wizards of the Coast just got rid of MSRP, the manufacturer suggested retail price. They're just like, oh yeah, people could charge whatever they want for them. So that just means that like individual stores price gouge you, the internet price gouges you.
Yeah.
Like just Wizards of the Coast doesn't care to manage that anymore. Saying like MSRP is $39.99.
Yeah.
And so I did some digging. I think I mentioned this last time. Distributor prices for the Commander Masters decks are $60.
Oh, so they're super high
for
anyway.
whatever reason. I don't know why. I'm sure somebody's just like, we'll just mark it up. Why not? And so, yeah, game stores are going to have to sell those at least at $80
to make any money on it.
To make any money on it, yeah. So I don't blame the game stores.
No, certainly not.
Not at all. But even like online retailers selling these decks for like $160.
Jeez, 3 times the price.
There's no reason for that. The $40 precons right when they come out, maybe $45. They're good, they're fun, and then if you wait a couple months, they usually drop down to like $30.
Well, I bought my Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Shishiru,
which is like maybe a year and a half ago. That one came out.
But I bought it a few months ago, so it was probably a year old, maybe a little, maybe a little bit more when I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it for $22.
Yeah.
And it's a great deck.
It's a great deck. It plays well out of the box. There's some cool new cards in there that even when you play them, I'm like, what the frick is this card? Like, it's kind of cool.
Well, and honestly, it like, once you understand how the deck plays, there's actually a variety of ways to play the deck. And it's a good, fun time. And it feels not OP, like there's no infinite combos that I've found in it at least. But it feels like I can stack up with most of your guys' other decks and like, not win most of the time maybe, but like feel like pretty comfortable, like, this is like, I'm doing stuff.
And so, that's cool as a new player, and then, like, if I were to buy a deck like that, I'd play a couple times, get to that feeling, that conclusion, and be like, alright, let's upgrade this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I do the same thing with my Spirits deck.
Yeah.
I bought both of those decks at the same time, and I think I spent $50 total for both of those decks.
2 decks, yeah.
And I don't know how old that one is. I think
it's a little bit older than
the but I think it was like the same thing, like $22.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Which, like, for a pre-con that, like, I did some research, and I think I asked you, like, I had, like, a couple in my Amazon shopping cart or whatever.
And I generally said, like, get the older precons because they're great
Yeah.
value and they still play well.
Yeah.
They always drop the price. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, they're awesome. So I don't know why I would ever
Spend $160
spend $160 on a pre-con.
just for like, again, I don't. Based on what I've seen, I don't think they're any stronger. And
Yeah, it's a pre-con still.
generally that's what I've seen online. There's only 10 new cards, so I can evaluate the other 90 cards in the deck fairly comfortably.
Yeah.
And say, this deck isn't.
Are the commanders new?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 2 commanders in each deck that you could use.
Yeah.
Which is normal, and then 8 other new cards.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
One of the decks is just like Planeswalkers, which isn't a particularly strong strategy in Commander. It never really has been. The Eldrazi deck, which had the potential for a good reprint value, because again, that's a popular tribe in Magic. Some of the oldest villains.
Yeah.
They didn't have any good reprints. There were, I think, 10
Really?
Eldrazi in the deck. And I saw...
Wait, only 10 Eldrazi in an Eldrazi deck?
yes, out of 100 cards. I saw something on YouTube, some funny content creators. Just like, that's like if you said, oh, look, I have this goblin deck. And it's like, oh, your commander's a goblin. And then...
There's one Krenko.
There's 10 goblins in it. And you're like, you might go a whole game without seeing one goblin. Like, that's not a goblin deck.
It's like calling my Shisuru deck a goblin deck because I have one like Krenko mob street boss or whatever card. Like it's like a random goblin card that gives me a little bit of value somewhere in the
somehow.
It's just like a little bit of like extra value in there.
Yeah.
It's like no, it's not that type of deck at all.
At least the Sliver deck, their whole synergy is built around the tribe of like they all buff each other up.
Sure.
So like I'm sure that deck seems like it plays okay out of the box, but again, missed opportunity for a lot of good value reprints because a lot of those old slivers are really expensive now, and they could use a reprint.
Yeah.
And it's just
That's too bad.
They feel like $40 precons. At $40, I wouldn't be complaining.
Yeah.
The Warhammer decks that came out last year were amazing. They're fantastic. They were slightly premium. I got mine for like, again, there's no MSRP. Game stores can charge whatever they want on them.
Yeah.
I got mine for about 50, 55-ish.
See, but I've seen them play and they're amazing.
They're amazing. Each of those decks had like 42 new cards.
Well, I think
and the whole deck was unique art too.
Yeah. Well, I think my Tyranids deck has more than 42 new cards because every single creature card in there is a Tyranid.
Is a Tyranid, yeah.
So and then there's a bunch of different enchantments that are like related to Tyranids. So I'm sure that it's over 42 cards.
And even the cards that don't mention Tyranids have the unique art on them.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Even though the lands, the basic lands, have unique art.
Let me tell you, that Tyranids deck, I haven't played it in a minute because I have the other decks that I kind of, I want to share the love around. But that Tyranids deck is probably my favorite deck to play.
It's
so much
really
fun.
good, yeah.
It's so much, and I've made 2 changes.
Mm-hmm.
I switched to the Face Commander.
Yes,
because the Face Commander is stupid. Like, why would you? The other, what is her name?
Magus Lucia Kane.
Yeah, Magus Lucia Kane is
way better.
Why would you ever use the Swarm Lord? Like,
because
he gets a +1/+1 counter for every time he's come out of the command zone.
He's a big boy.
He's like a 6/6.
Yeah.
And he's like 5 mana for a 6/6. And then
first time,
you draw a card. I think there's some card draw.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
He's just not that good.
But Lucia Kane, you get to copy your X creature spells. If you tap her for 2 mana to what?
Bare minimum, once every turn, you can just copy the biggest spell in your hand.
What?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I tap my Magus Lucia Kane and 10 mana. So let's say it costs 2 mana to get out, so that's a 10/10.
Yep.
With some ETB, that's probably fantastic because
relevant.
Most of the ETBs in that deck are pretty okay.
Yeah. Deal 10 damage to everything.
Yeah.
Oh look, now I have 2 of them.
Oh yeah, now I have 2 of them. Oh, great.
Okay. Everybody's dead. Or I win the game. Like
yeah.
That's a deck for like beginners can pick up and play out of the box and feel like they stand a chance.
Yeah,
like
I will say that the Cascade one, not a beginner's deck because Cascade is the most confusing keyword on the planet.
Yeah, the demons. Yeah,
I've been playing Magic for a decent amount of time. I understand most of the rules. Cascade. I even reading when I read
When
the
they
description,
read the
I say,
description.
"What in the actual f does this mean?"
That's funny because there's a lot of like old competitive decks built around Cascade, depending on your format. Like modern Cascade, they had for a
Yeah.
long time. They actually had to ban one of the cards; it was too troublesome. But yeah, Cascade is.
I just
funny.
don't like. I just don't.
When
get
you
it.
cast this card, before you actually do that card, get a different card that's just random from your
Yeah.
deck. Like,
And it's like, wait, but when do I play this other card? Like, what happens?
should probably for beginners should probably swap to the other commander in that deck, the demons deck. He's more just like focused around demon travel. He's like,
Gotcha.
anytime you play a demon, you just zap something else for 5 damage.
Oh.
Like that's simple. It's easy.
But Cascade is like an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. I've been thinking. Hopefully, Colin doesn't watch this episode.
Oh, good.
I've been thinking of buying the Necrons deck for him
Oh, yeah.
because it's a commander deck, right?
He has that one.
Oh, it does.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, shoot! I thought
Yeah,
he
I've
did.
played
Well, I'm glad I
against it.
didn't buy it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him play it. I just know he gifted me my Tyranids one.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure he had a Necrons one.
We'll bring it up next time. Yeah. It's like, dude, play the Necrons deck. He's been testing out.
Did they have an Astra Militarum deck?
No, so that's the thing. They just lumped in all of the humans, the Imperium,
Yeah.
into one deck. So there's like, they had to shove a lot into one deck. So there's like Cadian Shock Troopers on one card or something.
Do they have Death Core on it?
No, actually, I don't think
They didn't
there's
do
a
it.
Death Core card.
Come on!
Sorry. Yep.
I just want the card. Honestly,
I didn't
don't-
get a Thousand Suns card. I got the closest I got was our the Primarch is a big demon dude with a sword. It's like, all right, that's fine, I guess.
Man, I don't know why I have such a freaking hard on for Death Core Krieg.
Because it's just
Let me show you. I went
It's-
on.
fantasy World War One.
I gotta show you. I wasn't gonna show you this, so I have to find it real quick. But I was online. Where is it even? I was online, and I was just like looking at. Well, I don't remember what I was looking at actually.
We'll have our producer pull it up on screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, through
the producer.
the magic of movie editing. Hey, can you pull that up for us right now?
But I found this person who makes I was looking at I know exactly what I was doing. I was looking at changing my picture on our Discord server.
Oh,
I changed it to
gotcha.
I don't know if you saw it.
It's like a Kriegsman or whatever.
it's like a World War One like German post or like
oh yeah, it's like it looks like propaganda or something.
yeah.
from
Here,
World War One.
let me just show it on. See if I
Death
can.
Corps.
It's pretty
What did that say? Death before dishonor.
yeah. Death Before Dishonor, Death Corps of Krieg. So it's pretty fun. Like
That's cool. That's cool.
I kind of wanted I was trying to find like a poster or something I could get,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just like print that or something like that.
Take it to a print shop.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've got a good enough resolution.
Yeah, well, I mean, it should be like it's pretty okay resolution,
Yeah. Okay.
but and I was like just looking for like a Kriegsman to like use as my screenshot, and then I found this girl who makes these,
No
And
way.
it's a bust.
It's a bust of
And
of
she-
a trooper.
and
yeah.
it's clay. It's clay that she
Wow.
like molds and stuff like that.
That's impressive.
And so it's like a bust, and they're like, yeah, that works pretty well right there.
nice.
But
That's super cool.
yeah, and so I was like, okay, and I didn't see the price at first, right? Because I Googled or image
Yeah.
for like a picture,
You
right?
stumbled upon that.
And I stumbled upon that. I was like, yo, that's sick, and I clicked on her Etsy shop for like $7,000.
Yeah, I bet that.
Well, because it's big.
And it takes
It's like,
some time. to
You know,
do.
it has the nice wood base. It has like the stand and like I think it was like probably about this big. So it's like molded and stuff like that, and like hand painted and everything. I was like, pretty sick. So when I have oodles of money, I'll probably
have that one up in the man cave.
what I'll probably do
Have a whole shrine.
is I'll probably eventually like create like a clone of a las gun.
Oh, you can 3D print those for sure.
Well, I mean a real one though. I'll make a gun that looks like a las gun but actually shoots like 30-06 or something stupid,
Nice.
and put that like above that with like the
bust of the
bust of
soldier,
the Kriegsman or
Yeah.
something. I think I just think it would be dope.
the posters, and
Yeah.
everything around it.
My shrine to I honestly don't know why I love them so much, and they're not even like amazing. They're good,
They're good, sure.
but like I was using them in our battles and stuff like that, and I was like, this is fine,
They're fine.
but
That is the cool thing about Warhammer is that like, especially as with like 10th edition rolling out, and there's been a couple little balance changes or whatever. I mean, there's all sorts of fans of the game, or fans of the universe, and it's like you can chase the meta, so to speak, is what they call it. Of like, oh, this is the best army right now. This old army I had is no good, so I'm going to sell them all off and then go get the new army. But really, you got to latch onto what you like.
Yeah,
and then like even if they're just okay or if they're bad in game, you're just like, yeah, but these guys are cool. I like them.
Yeah. Well, and I got like all of my non-Krieg characters and non-Krieg stuff.
Yeah.
I've modeled them in like a Krieg. I found the 3D files, right?
Yeah.
Like my what's his name? Solar.
Your Solar Leontis.
Yeah.
Your commander.
My Lord Solar Leontis. Like I found a Kriegsman on a horse with like the cool like helmet.
He's got the helmet.
Yeah.
The gas mask.
It looks sick. And then my Earthshaker carriages are like World War One, like trench artillery.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So much. And then the walkers, the scout walkers, I kind of tried getting them to be Kriegish.
Kind of World War One theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. There's a lot of there's something for everybody in that game.
It's pretty great.
I know of a lot of like orcs players, and orcs aren't always like the best army in the game, but the Warhammer orcs are just so like comical almost. They're so funny.
Yeah. Because isn't there like thing that like, oh, we have a tank, it works, and it just works.
They just believe that things work, and then also they believe that like the color of things affects it. So I forget all of the specifics, but like I want to say they believe red means that it goes fast, so they paint all their vehicles fast. They don't like the color blue, or they think blue is like strong or something, so that's why they don't like the Space Marines, because the armor is blue.
That's funny.
These guys are too strong, when it's just their armor.
But because of how like they believe stuff, does that actually make it like?
I don't.
If you're playing like an orc army and you're playing against like blue Space Marines, do the blue Space Marines get like
they get stronger,
+4 in Vuln save or something like that?
The orcs are like no, and so if they actually win, then it's like, oh, that's boost their confidence.
Yeah,
they believe like purple is a stealthy color. So there's jokes online of like, yes, look at my purple painted Space Marine army or whatever. It's just empty. Like
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So again, things like that. Orcs players are funny, but you latch onto the one thing that you like, and it's you enjoy it.
I've just been Deathcore of Krieg. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I think it's probably because Deathcore of Krieg is my first introduction into the Warhammer universe.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because I saw a YouTube video and it said Deathcore of Krieg, like animated video, and I was like, okay, I'll watch that, and it was sick.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And it was like World War I trench warfare, but with like cool tech.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, oh, this is just like a World War I like reenactment or like
alternate reality.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Laser guns.
Like, this is fun to watch, and they're like, shooting and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, a freaking Space Marine just like starts flamethrowing people, and I was like, "What the freak just happened?
What is going on?"
Yeah, so that was my like introduction into Warhammer. Was that? So I think that's when I started.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about a magic card.
Speaking of things that are sick, I've been thinking of ways to improve our segues.
I'm not very good at it. I'm really not. I need to find the card because I closed out of it because I was showing you that picture.
Oh, the Krieg, yeah.
But like I said, I've been going through all of the legendary creatures of each class, each
tribe, yeah.
Each tribe to figure out like, oh, if I had to make a Kraken deck or a Unicorn deck or whatever, right?
Uh-huh. You can do
it. And I've been, taking screenshots of cool legendary cards because I was like, oh, this would be kind of fun. Not maybe as like a commander, but kind of just a fun card to have. But I came across this guy. He's a Kraken, which there's not very many legendary Krakens.
No, there's not.
And his name is Arixmithes Slumbering Isle.
Arixmithes, yep, I know this one.
Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah.
4 mana for a 12/12.
Yeah, but there's a catch.
But it's a really stupid catch because it's like
It's a good catch.
He enters the battlefield with 5 slumber counters on it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he has a slumber counter on it, it is a land, not a creature. And it taps for 2 mana.
Yeah, a green and a blue.
A green and a blue. So he only costs 2 mana to get out.
4 mana to play, but then you can immediately tap him for 2 mana.
Because he's not technically a creature, he's a land. Uh-huh. So it's like, I just put this in a blue-green deck anyway.
Any blue-green deck, yeah.
Yeah.
And then was it each time you tap him, you remove a counter?
No, whenever you cast a spell,
you
may remove a slumber counter from.
I knew it was something dumb like that.
So it's like, okay, I play this turn 4 because you have to have the 4 mana.
Maybe you ramp into it, but sure, we'll say.
Well, I mean, so turn 1, a green and a soul ring. Turn 2, a blue. Tap everything, and you get Eric's Methes, where you have 2 more mana to play another spell.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, great. And every time you cast a spell, you may remove a slumber counter from him. So, like, you could get a 12-12 on, like, turn 5.
Yeah, pretty comfortably. 12-12, ready to attack on turn 5, I think.
No one has anything on turn 5 that's, like, amazing.
No, yeah. Usually people are, like, building up their value.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a mana rock, here's some card
draw.
Oh,
yeah, and I'm just going to swing at you for 12 damage.
For 12. Well, I don't want to block with my mana dork, so I guess I'll take 12.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, yeah, now you're at 28 health from the starting 40.
And if that's your commander, it's like, you're halfway dead from my commander.
Yeah. I hit you one more time and you're dead. Gone. I give the guy trample and you're gone.
Yep. Trample, you can buff him up easily.
Yeah. Like, well, especially with like green blue. Green blue has a lot of like buff your creature.
There's jokes about like green blue is probably the best like 2-color combination. Or at the very least, it's just because in Commander, it's a slower format anyway. Green is the best at ramping, at getting all your mana out, and blue's the best at drawing cards. And so you put them together, and it's like green blue just does everything you want to do in a Commander game. You ramp and you draw cards.
And both of them have big creatures.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Green more so than blue, but blue has like all of the Leviathans and stuff like that as well. Krakens.
Sea serpents. Yeah, totally. So it's funny because it's like every time they release a new green-blue commander, it's all the jokes online is like, oh, look, that's Simic is right there combination. Like, look, it's a Simic commander that draws cards and ramps. Yeah, okay, perfect. Amazing. So anytime they do a Simic commander that's not that, you're like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. They had one that was like proliferating. That was fairly recent. Like, oh, green blue proliferate. That's kind of cool. And then at the end, it's like, whenever you proliferate, draw a card. There it is. Like, dang it, you were almost unique.
You almost had it. So close.
Why did they print that last line on there?
Give it more value.
Yeah, it's green blue. It's got to draw cards.
That's funny.
So, but Eric's Methes, I've never made a green blue deck myself.
You've never made a green blue deck?
No, again, partially because of that. Where I'm just like, every green blue deck ends up being exactly the same. Like you were playing with Davis's last one, right? I think he got every single land out of his deck by the end of the game.
Yeah, he had something like 30 land. Like he could
30 lands in play, and he's like, oh, and then I'll shuffle my graveyard back into my library. So every card in his library is gas. Every card in his library is good, basically.
Yeah. Well, and then also like he got untapped all of his lands like halfway through each turn as well.
Yep.
So he had like 60 mana to play with.
Or he untapped them on each of our turns. Like, oh.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's like every green blue.
I didn't feel like there was like a ton of like finish them combos in that. It was just like I'm going to like
this Simic value just draw cards and play lands. So
he needs like some like big like X creatures in that deck.
Yeah, totally.
Like if you had like, can you imagine a big X creature with trample and haste and you have 30 mana out on the board? You're like, and you untap it halfway through your turn or on everyone else's turn, so you don't need to like save the mana for anything like that. It's like, oh yeah, I tap out and get a 32/32 potato with trample.
Yeah, that doesn't need anything else. It's just
tree folk with trample, whatever.
A big boy,
Tyrannid with trample.
Yeah, that's why you've got me thinking about that Eric's Methes right now. Actually, the Slumbering Isle. I'm sure Kraken tribal deck, probably fun. But
probably not very many Kraken creatures though.
No, you'd have to go digging for them.
So you could do like a dual tribal, like you could do like Kraken,
Leviathans,
or like I was thinking even like Kraken Merfolk. Or something like that.
They do Octopus.
I haven't gotten to O's yet on my searching, so
gotcha.
I think I'm down to.
I'm thinking of a Storm deck. is that would actually have win cons. Fine, there's not a whole lot of storm like cards, but I could do some research.
You have your snow deck, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Are all your creatures in that deck snow creatures?
Most of them, or at the very least, a couple of them synergize with snow creatures.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've been really wanting to do like a more. If we're gonna do a tribal deck, I would like to do something like that, where it's a snow deck or like some sort of like environmental theme instead of.
They released a different color combination for snow just recently. It's like a Yeti commander.
Oh,
who's green, blue, white, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you.
What is yours right now?
Green, blue, black.
Green, blue, black.
And there are some decent like white snow cards. I'm like, oh man, I wish I could put that in my deck, but they're for the Yeti instead. So
maybe you just have to have 2 snow decks.
Just two snow decks, yeah. Or there's something for you because until they do snow again, those are really the only 2 viable commanders.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know if I would do snow just because you have one.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, those colors are like my favorite colors:
mm-hmm.
green, blue, black. Like those are my. Well, no, I like green, red, black. What is my Tyrannus deck?
Green, red, blue.
Green, red,
blue.
Yeah, because I really like Shisero as well.
Yeah,
and he's green, red.
That's true.
I don't think I like black very much.
Okay, well, white.
Green and I just don't know how to play white very well.
Sure.
Or black for that matter.
Well, now that you have Teferi's Protection, step 1, play Teferi's Protection. There you go. You're playing white.
Well, I have all those new the white cards from the Strixhaven deck.
Yeah, you got that old booster
I've been
box.
going through and I have that mana box app or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And I've been going through and adding every single one. The camera that I can just scan the cards. Scan it. Super nice.
Oh, nice.
It works super well.
You can just.
There's been like 3 cards where I've had to like search the card,
manually put it in,
and it just like will like sit there and like it'll like have the little rectangle around it, and it just like doesn't do it. And I'm like, okay, so I'll just put that one to the side. Then I'll just like yink, and just like I've gone through like 400 of the cards so far.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we'll have to remember that when we open up a game store.
Yeah,
that app's the way to go for cataloging.
Yeah, for real. Maybe we'll open up a game store, the 5G game store.
The 5G game store.
You know what? Oh, okay.
Dude.
Let's do this.
Lay it on me.
Ready?
What do you got?
Okay. So, 5Gs, right?
Uh-huh.
God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy. So, we have to have a game store.
Yes.
For all the games, right? With some sort of restaurant cafe attached to it.
Love
and
it.
in the back, we'll have a shooting range.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine the bros day?
That would be awesome.
You just go and you have like really good food and you play, a game of Warhammer, and then you go in and you rent machine guns and just like blow off all the steam, and it's like, I can't believe I lost.
You got Dungeons and Dragons that night.
Exactly.
You can hang out at the store.
Dude, like a 12-hour day from noon to midnight.
It's an adventure. You go to one place to fulfill all your needs.
Okay, this is like a great idea.
This is actually really good. The closest thing I've seen is like to that is Shields, if you've heard of Shields.
Yeah, Shields.
They're like a Bass Pro competitor.
Yeah.
But a little bit better because Shields has got like the gun range.
Yeah.
Built in. Or like they have a driving range for golf.
Yeah.
And there's just tons of stores and stuff too.
Yeah.
But that's for like outdoors men, which we are to an extent, but also you need one for like the nerd men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and can you imagine if you like hired a gunsmith to like make guns from video games?
Dude. You're onto something.
So it's like, oh yeah, you want to shoot
that's custom
this
work, but totally
random gun from Halo?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we have that.
Just like a Space Marines. Like,
oh yeah, you can't buy this gun. This is what we have this gun.
We have it. Like you can rent it and use
or
it.
Or like like a las gun or like a melta gun or something like that. Like that'd be sick. Okay, we need to do this. We need to open up the 5G store 5G or whatever it's called, right?
And then you run classes to help you with goals during.
Nah, we're sticking with 3 of the G's.
With the 3. Okay.
We're not opening a church there.
I thought like, maybe we'll just sell Bibles in the corner or something.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah,
that'd be really funny. Just like a little like Bible stand with like We could even just have like scriptures, like
Oh, yeah.
Quran, the Torah, the Bible,
anything you
like
want.
the Book of Mormon, like
All of it.
what other books? What's the Jehovah's Witness Bible or whatever?
Yeah.
Don't they call it something different?
No, I think it's just the J-Dub Bible.
Yeah. Or what other religion? We could have like the Bhagavad Gita.
The
or whatever.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. That'd be really funny.
Everything.
Every book of scripture.
And any mention of God, boom, we want it. We're in.
I like this idea.
It's good. It's a good idea.
All right, coming soon to a Mesa, Arizona near you.
Probably start local first. Sorry for all the international and interstate
and interplanetary listener.
You never know. The aliens, they exist.
Yeah, man. That's
they
all.
They could be listening.
That's all of our views. Is
Alien
Xerxes from this planet Xenon 3.
Yeah, man.
I like how I used real things to like make my Xerxes, ancient Persian king, god king, Xenon, an element.
I mean, it sounds scientific.
It does.
Wow.
And X's was the thing apparently. Okay, so we have to do this store now. This would be great. What got us on that topic?
Game store? Your box, you were cataloging your cards.
Oh yeah.
A Rick Smithies. You don't know how to play white.
Yep.
Magic.
I have to make a Strixhaven deck though.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah,
so.
you got tons of cards from that. So
yeah, be able to put Fairy's Protection in there.
Probably.
There was a couple other cards that I had that were actually worth a decent chunk of money from that box too.
Yeah, I know you got a. That's why I recommended the Strixhaven box because I knew there's some good polls in there.
Let me look it up. This app, love this app first of all, because you can categorize everything by price.
Oh, okay. You can filter like I want the highest price first of everything I've done.
Sort by.
You had a natural order.
Oh, this is not what I wanted. Hold on.
X-Men. It's a pretty cool name.
Why is it doing this? I want to search my box, not everyone else's box.
Oh, technical difficulties.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, so I got a natural order,
Yep.
a tainted pact.
Oh, I forgot you got the tainted pact.
Which is $12.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And a wandering archaic.
Yeah. What is that guy up to?
$5.
Okay, yeah, he used to be a bit more expensive, but he's pretty good.
I don't remember what he does. 5 mana for 4/4. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, you may copy that spell. Oh, that's pretty great.
It's pretty good.
He's an opposite side.
Yeah, the other side's not that good.
Exploring the vast lands. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, paragraph of text.
I have a Prismari command, which is $5.
Oh yeah, I think those were actually used in Standard or Pioneer or some format.
Got a Magnum Opus.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon's Approach.
Yeah, those ones are like $2 now.
Dragon's Approach, $350.
Yeah, $350. Okay. They used to be more. I told you that. They used to be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted like 30 of them.
Those are kind of all the. I mean, I have like that from then on. It's like all of them are $3, like $3 and below.
Okay.
What's frustrating is that the card company that I use to like grade all my like price all my cards has a minimum of price of 35 cents.
Oh yeah.
So it's like some of them. It's like the lands that I have are all 35 cents.
35 cents.
So it's like
that's not actual value.
No. I wonder if I can change it to like TCG Play or something like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
But yeah. So anyway, I wanted to ask you about a couple other cards.
Sure. I think this is another Magic themed episode.
We have quite a few of those. It feels like.
Yeah. It's almost like it's one of our favorite hobbies or something. It was just a boring week as far as current events. So
yeah, I didn't see anything with current events.
There's nothing.
Oh, we can talk about the Doctor Who cards.
Oh yes,
right. We wanted to talk about those.
Yeah, they spoiled some more Doctor Who cards.
Let me ask you about this guy.
Yeah.
Because I've also been thinking about creating a Merfolk deck.
Oh, okay.
Because they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
But Emperor Mikhail II. Legendary creature, Merfolk Noble.
Never heard of this card.
3 for a 3/3. You may look at the top card of your library at any time.
It's always good.
you may cast merfolk spells from the top of your library.
Pretty good.
Whenever you cast a merfolk spell, you may pay 1 mana. If you do, create a 1/1 blue merfolk creature token. Pretty okay.
He's just blue. Just mono
Just blue. Mono blue.
It's pretty good.
Pretty okay.
Actually, yeah. He doesn't draw you cards, but effectively he does. Because it's like looking at the top card of your library and then playing that card is card advantage.
Yeah.
Because you played a card that wasn't in your hand. And then if you flip the top card and it's another merfolk, you can also play that. It's effectively... That's like better than
infinite card draw almost if you have a merfolk themed.
Mm-hmm.
Because
there's ways you can modify the top of your library, or if you shuffle your deck again, you can try to get something else on top. You can put things back on top of your library.
Yeah.
So there's a lot you can do with that.
What are there like merfolk lands?
No. The best thing that comes to mind as far as cheating that out is they have tribal spells. It's actually a card type in game. Like you've seen with my my knight deck, I'll use the tribal spells because they count as night spells, and it's like, oh, I can cast night spells from the graveyard. So they in blue, there's at least 2 that aren't like amazing, but it'll be like a tribal sorcery or a tribal instant, and then underneath it'll explain like this card has all creature types, even though it's not a creature. So there's one blue one that's like give a creature +0/+1 and flying until end of turn or whatever. Not amazing. And then I think the other one is like give your opponent's creatures like -3, -0, whatever.
Gotcha.
So it's fine.
Yeah.
That's the only blue ones that I can think of off the top of my head. They're something like that.
I've just been going through and trying to find like the different
merfolk
ones that I want to do. There's a couple Minotaurs that were kind of fun.
Yeah, Minotaurs have gotten a little bit better. There's a funny guy online, I see him on Reddit. Every time there's a set that comes out, he does a Minotaur set review. He's like a Minotaur fanboy. He's like, oh, okay, well, this set didn't have any Minotaurs, so 0 out of 10. But here's some cards that could work with Minotaur Tribal.
That's funny. Yeah, there's one Minotaur Warrior. Morob, Fury of Akom.
Yeah, this guy's great.
Yeah. Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each time it is attacked this turn. Which is like great the first time, right?
Yeah, at least +1.
But his landfall, he's a landfall that whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase.
Yep.
At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. So it's like, okay, so either I attack once, well, landfall, attack once, and then I go to my second combat and untap all my creatures so they're up for defense.
And then they get another power, so they're up to
+2 power. +2 power. Or I get to attack again and then do double the damage, or more than double the damage.
It's hard in mono red, but there are a couple ways you can cheese it to get multiple landfall triggers each turn too. He doesn't say it only triggers once each turn.
Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it is your main phase.
Yeah, that's the only stipulation.
There is an additional combat phase after this phase. Whenever a land, so if
to my knowledge, you can have as many additional combat phases added, so long as you're.
Whenever a land, so land 1 enters. It is my main phase. Land 1 enters. I do some sort of ramp. Get another land out.
Yeah, so
another land.
Technically, you do because it says your additional combats after this phase. You do your additional combats first, and then you have your actual normal combat for the turn. But you get to also keep untapping your creatures. I'm almost positive that's how he works. I haven't used him in that way yet. He's in my werewolf deck. He's an honorary werewolf.
Oh, interesting.
Minotaurs and the werewolves, they get along. Because that deck's all about attacking, so.
Yeah. It'd be pretty fun. It'd be interesting. I also thought about doing a monkey deck.
Oh, yes.
Because monkeys.
Monkeys?
But unfortunately, a lot of monkeys are green and red. This guy's only green, so it'd have to be mono green.
Is that Kogla?
No, Kibo.
Oh,
Uktabi Prince.
Kibo's green and red.
Oh, you're right, because he has a stupid
shout out to like our first episode or whatever. Second episode,
maybe?
This is like right after that guy came out.
Yeah.
Kibo.
Yeah, you tap him and each player creates a colorless artifact named Banana. With tap, sacrifice this artifact, gain red or green, you gain 2 life. So it's like a better treasure token.
Yeah. Because you also get 2 life off of it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not better because it's only a red or green.
Yeah, but for you, I mean.
Yeah, for this guy. And then whenever an artifact an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control that's an ape or a monkey.
Yeah, that's right.
Whenever Kibo attacks, defending player sacrifices an artifact.
Uh-huh.
So you can force players to sacrifice an artifact.
Yeah.
You give them artifacts to sacrifice.
And you buff up the monkeys. And they go bananas.
It's hilarious.
It is hilarious, actually.
It'd be a very fun deck.
If I didn't already have 2 green-red decks, I've thought about that one just because monkeys. It's fun.
But I mean, you could swing another green red deck and just have more monkey, just
totally
like a monkey
different.
ape deck.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind of fun. It'd be fun. Is a
proxy art of Donkey Kong for Kibo.
That would be hilarious.
Also, yeah,
that would be super funny. No, I was thinking a Sapiens deck.
Oh, okay.
Where you do monkey ape human.
Human. Sure. Humans are generally white in Magic. Majority white. Sometimes it's
how racist.
I don't make the rules.
That's actually really funny though that they.
It's just because forever the white weenies has been the name of the archetype of making 1/1 like human soldiers.
Yeah.
Has been like the oldest thing in Magic, and so there's just soldiers generally is probably more white.
Sure,
but they just also happen to be human soldiers. So yeah, 1/1 white weenies. But so yeah, you could find some way to do green, red, white Sapiens. Primates deck.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, primates was the word I was looking for.
Oh, okay, primate tribal.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it, so I was like, Homo sapien. I'll use sapien.
Sapien, sure.
Because it's actually not. Sapien is just our class.
It's us, but
it's because there's like Homo erectus, Homo sexuals.
all of the homos.
No. Yeah, I just have been going through and like there's some pretty funny demons.
Demons, yeah.
Because there's like bird demons and cat demons and like
snake demons.
This guy, this Jetmir Nexus of Revels.
Oh yeah,
he's a cat demon, but he's not a black creature.
No, yeah.
It's hilarious. I didn't know demons were not black.
That was the first plane. It was a brand new plane in Magic's story, New Capenna, they called it. I think that was the city. Maybe the plane had a different name, but the set was called New Capenna. That was the first time they flipped it on its head. They announced it beforehand, like, we're going to have demons that aren't black. Which is, because in Magic's lore, demons are born from black mana. They're just manifestations of the black energy. And then angels are the opposite. Angels are manifestation of white energy. And then red, green, blue are like the nature colors.
Yeah.
So like elementals, fire, water, earth elementals are manifestations of the mana. And so, yeah, this plane, they were like, this plane is a little out of whack. And so you have demons that aren't black. And they had angels that weren't white.
Interesting. Because this guy is actually like pretty great as if you have a lot of tokens.
A lot of tokens, yep.
Because creatures you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance as long as you control 3 or more creatures.
All right,
which 3 or more creatures is pretty easy, but vigilance +1/+0 is not bad. Then if you have 6 or more creatures, they also get another +1 and have trample.
Yeah, that's getting better.
And then if you have 9 or more creatures, they get another +1 and have double strike.
There's the kicker.
If you have 1/1 tokens, they're actually 4/1 tokens with vigilance, trample, and double strike.
Yeah, trample and double strike's a nasty combo too. You can just pull some damage out of nowhere with that.
I want to put this guy in my freaking Tyrannus deck because I can just say like, yeah, I have whatever, and then by the way, all of my big guys have trample, or vigilance, which is great. But then I have 6 creatures now. They all have trample.
Yeah,
every single one.
Which sometimes is a problem in your Tyrannus deck.
It's a huge problem in that deck.
More of them should have trample.
None of them have trample. There's like 2 creatures in that deck with have trample.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
You got a big 12/12, and he gets stopped by a 1/1 squirrel.
Yeah, and then from New Capenna again, there's the Falco Spire Packweaver, who's a bird demon.
I've thought about him, the bird demon, actually, because I don't have that color combination. Bant.
Bant is green, white, blue.
Green, white, blue. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got flying trample. He enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it, which is kind of cool, which is nice for a commander.
The next time he would take damage or be destroyed, instead he just gets rid of the counter. He's got a shield, literally.
Then you may look at the top card of your library anytime, which is nice.
Always good.
You may cast spells from the top of your library by removing a counter from a creature you control in addition to paying its other costs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, I remove it. But there's a lot of ways to put counters on creatures.
And it can be any kind of counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can even be -1/-1 counters.
And that's exactly the combo I found with that guy when he first came out.
Oh, really?
We've joked about this card before, Devoted Druid. Combos with a ham sandwich. But Devoted Druid taps to add a green mana. But then you can put a -1/-1 counter on him to untap him. But he's a 0/2, so if you do that twice, you'll kill him.
Yeah, but then you just get to play cards from the top of your deck.
Yeah, so then there's a Sensei's Divining Top, which is one of my favorite cards ever since I got it. It's a 1-mana artifact. You play it. You can pay 1 mana and like look at the top 3 cards of your library and put them back in any order. It's kind of fun. But then you can also just tap it, draw a card, and then you put the top back on top of your library. And so with the Falco Spara, you can cast it from the top, and the Devoted Druid gives you the 1 mana to cast it, and then you can just draw your whole deck. And you keep putting the top back on top. You also have like 100-something cast triggers, so you can like storm and do like, and then I deal 100 damage at everybody, things like that. So
yeah,
I have that in the works. It's like, that'd be a fun combo deck someday.
Interesting.
Devoted Druid with the Falco Spara. I had a pile set aside that was like, counter themed. It wasn't super strong, but it was just like, if I ever build it, like it'd be kind of fun, and then also have the infinite combo in there.
You and I should get together sometime, and we could film it as an extra video or something if you wanted to.
A little bonus shot.
But go through my Strixhaven box and like go through and actually like create a deck.
Oh, sure.
Like a white deck or a white-red deck.
Start to finish.
Yeah, from start to like go through, because my goal for that deck is to only use that deck.
Yeah, you want it to be themed from the set.
Only use Strixhaven cards for everything,
cool.
right? Removal, ramp, everything from that deck.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think would be kind of like a challenge to do, but also like
certainly, yeah,
kind of fun, because it's like, oh yeah, this is all Strixhaven. Like
you can always claim you're like, this is my Strixhaven deck.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun.
That's what I've done like with my snow deck. I've wanted to like upgrade it, but I'm like, but this is my snow deck.
Yeah, and it also works pretty well.
The commander works well enough. There's good enough synergies already.
Yeah,
but there's a couple of like creatures in there where I'm just like, this creature's not that good.
But snow creature.
But it's a snow creature, so the Chiller Pillar, as we all know, is my secret commander.
Yes,
he's a terrifying 5-mana 3/3 that doesn't do anything.
What is his ability?
If you pay an additional like 5 mana, he gets 2 1/1 counters and gains flying.
Wow, a 5/5 flyer.
Yeah, you pay 10
mana for a 5/5 flyer.
He's a Chiller Pillar though. He's a chill guy.
What a joke!
It's just a big like ice caterpillar, and then there's like a butterfly in the background. So you're like, oh, he like cocoons and gains flying.
What a joke!
Yeah, it's goofy, but at this point, I got to keep the card in because it's too funny. Your pet cards. Everybody has pet cards in Commander. That's mine.
What is my pet card?
The Chiller Pillar.
Hulking Metamorph is my pet card, because I really want to come up with an infinite combo for my ninja deck.
Oh, yeah.
I've been thinking about that for a long time, trying to figure out how.
There's got to be some way.
I mean, there has to be. I almost had it.
You almost had it. Yeah. That tripped us up so much that
night. We spent probably a solid 10 minutes trying to figure that out.
At least, like, because it would have changed the game totally.
It would have changed that deck. It would have made that deck actually viable. Because I could have gone, because I have multiple...
Do I have an accidental infinite combo in here?
Because there's multiple ways. Because I have a Diabolic Tutor in that deck.
Yeah.
As well as that one random 9-mana creature that whenever he ETBs, I get to go search for all of my other 9-mana...
All the other
any number of 9-mana creature cards in that deck. Which, most of the time, 9-mana creatures are expensive. In this deck, they cost 4 mana for me to cast.
They're all 4 mana. Doesn't matter.
Which is great, because most of them have pretty okay ETBs.
Yeah.
So
that almost comboed until we read the little clause of like, if it entered from your hand. And we were like, dang.
Yeah.
No.
Which means I get another one that is tapped and attacking, technically.
Yeah, it's still good. It's still synergy, but not a combo.
Well, and it's nice because it's tapped and attacking and can't be blocked because if I ninjutsu it in.
The ninjutsu, you're like, here's a 9/9 or a 7/7.
Hulking Metamorph is a 7/7, I think.
7/7.
But I wanted to make infinite 7/7s that were attacking and
unblocked.
And because I can choose different targets for the attacking. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you all die.
You could have, that'd be pretty sick. I found an infinite combo accidentally one time in one of my decks. It was last year, our little deck building challenge for the summer was the Street Fighter decks. Here, but we did we all picked a Street Fighter commander and we built it on a $50 budget. And it was like the first night I was testing it against McKay. He had his Street Fighter deck and his was like super toxic. He literally did have one or two infect cards in there, but it was super good because it was all just around like buffing up his commander.
Oh yeah,
it did tons of damage, and so in a 1v1 game of commander, like it was brutal. It was so hard to deal with. But then I found I had an accidental like 4 or 5 card infinite combo. Like it's not great, it's not reliable.
Yeah, but if you get it, it's like.
But I had all the pieces out on the board, and I was like. Thinking about it, I had to like there wasn't even anything in my hand I was looking at. I was just trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, okay, I attack with my commander,
charge counter here,
charge counter there, proliferate, remove 3 charge counters, take an extra turn after this one, and then I took my extra turn and I was like, charge counter there, proliferate. Remove 3 charge counters, take an extra turn. I think this is infinite. And McKay's looking at me like, you built this on a $50 budget. Like, you have an accidental infinite combo in there. I was like,
charge counters,
proliferate. It's like 5 cards. It's not reliable. I've never done it since then, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I just played against Caleb. Has a I don't know what it's called. I just played against it on Thursday, but it's his one where he has it's an infinite combo.
Oh, it's
landfall
combo, yeah.
And we got into a very heated argument because he was claiming that with these 2 cards it was an infinite combo.
Oh, okay.
And I was claiming it was not. And he was like, "No, I played with this like so many times. It is infinite." And I said, "No, it's not." And we got very.
You got to go through the steps, the iterations.
Yeah, so we did, and I said, "Okay," because it was he was playing a bounce land.
Yep. What that deck revolves around.
Yep. So he was playing a bounce land, but you can bounce land that bounce land, right? You can like, when this card enters the battlefield, or when this enters the battlefield, return another land. So it's like, okay, well, return that one, right?
Yeah.
And then it's a partner commander deck. The mono green one says, if whenever a card enters the battlefield, if it wasn't put there from this turn, you may put another card from your hand onto the battlefield that costs equal or less mana.
Yeah.
And since it's land, it costs 0 mana, so
you can just put the land back.
But my argument was, okay, you've played it once, and then it bounces back, and the second time it enters, it was put there from the ability, and then it bounces back. He said, yeah, but then I get to do it again because it entered. It's like, no, you don't. No. And I was correct, because he forgot to tell me another half of the combo. Because I've never played against this deck, so I didn't know.
He needs his other commander out.
Well, there was another thing that he was doing, because it was he had another card that was like a landfall created 1/1 elemental or something like that. Okay. And so the element
creating the token is a 0 mana cost,
and it wasn't put there from his.
Yeah.
So then the land can enter again from the commander's ability. And then enter again from the commander's ability and enter again. So he just didn't tell me that. And so we spent like probably, maybe not quite 10 minutes, but like a good amount of time. I'm like running him through this. I took both of his cards. I'm like, okay, this happens. And then this happens. That's it. And like most of the time, like when I'm struggling to like understand a combo, and like people are telling me it's like this happens, I'm like, I'm reading the card and that doesn't make any sense. But then when someone explains it to me, I'm like, okay, sure, that's stupid that works like that, but I guess. But this time Caleb was like, no, I promise it works. I'm like, no, dude, it does not, and I'm going to not let you play until it doesn't work.
It does not resolve.
It does not resolve.
Do not pass priority.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that combo's got to be 3 cards.
Yeah.
Always.
But yeah, infinite combos are kind of fun. Like sometimes, like I feel like
agree.
they can be dumb.
Yeah,
Like
sometimes.
if you don't have to work for the combo.
Or sometimes they're not infinite, but it's just like you don't win the game off of the combo. You just make it so nobody else can win.
Yeah.
And, yeah, those ones always feel a little bad.
I also made fun of Caleb last night because he did that combo and eventually explained. He's like, "Yeah, I make 100,000 elementals," and I go, "Ha, that's chunk change." Trevor just made 7 billion squirrels the other day.
Only 100,000 rookie numbers.
Well, and then he goes to swing at me, and he goes, "I swing 50,000 elementals. What is your response?" And I had like 5 creatures on the board, and I go, "Return all target tapped to creatures, or return all tapped attacking creatures to their owner's hand."
Nice.
Caleb goes, "Ah, good response."
Next turn, swing with the other 50,000.
He did, and I died.
Yeah, fair.
I didn't have another board wipe, unfortunately.
That's funny.
But,
Infinite combos are pretty fun, obviously.
yeah.
We're talking about it. I enjoy making those a lot. So
I really want to come up with one with my ninjutsu deck.
mm-hmm.
Just because, I mean...
I can do some digging for you if you want. Or if you want to find...
Well, I would like to try and do it. If you have, like, suggestions...
Okay.
Hulking Metamorph just seems like a fun way to do it.
I'll just find a card that I know could combo with it, and I'll just be like, dude, look at this cool card I just found. What do you think about it?
Just text it to me and be like...
Yeah. I'll let you figure it out yourself.
Yeah. That'd be really funny because, like, now I'm going to be like, you've got to, like, send me, like, a text every day with a new card.
Yeah, and so some of them will be red herrings. I'll just, dude, look at this. It's a goat.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
awesome. He's a 0/1.
A ninja goat deck would be so much fun.
Isn't that such a good idea?
I would love to. You know what? That would be a fun thing for our challenge.
Yeah.
Is come up with a some sort of like dual tribe deck, but like that doesn't make sense. It's like not like human warrior.
Yeah.
Or like, but it's like, I don't know, like human goats.
Yeah.
Or
dragon goats.
Yeah.
Or
dragon donkeys. The Shrek deck. Because Donkey has the dragon, right?
babies, dragon donkey babies.
That'd be hilarious.
Man, I don't think there's donkeys in the game. Maybe.
I thought there was. Oh, there might be mules.
Yeah, okay. I know there's oxen are pretty close.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
Oh, I was gonna leave it as a cliffhanger for next week.
Oh, we have a cliffhanger for next week.
You'll never know if donkeys
exist. Dun dun dun. And everyone can just go online and look it up as we're talking about it.
Totally. But if you want to be entertained, wait for next week, and we will surely start out with a welcome to the 5G podcast. Turns out donkeys are a tribe. Okay, anyway, moving on. What do you know?
Alrighty. Well,
cool.
I guess that is our cliffhanger for next week.
Till next time.
Do donkeys or mules exist in
Magic the Gathering?
Magic the Gathering.
Are they a viable tribe? Can you build a whole deck around donkeys?
Maybe we should talk about that next time. It's like the most random tribal deck you can build that's like actually viable and not just a meme.
Yeah. A viable path to victory. Yep.
Yeah. Dude, if there's an infinite donkey combo, that's going I'm doing that.
That's it. We're building it. Yeah.
I'm doing that. Like for sure. Alrighty. Well, thanks for watching.
Yeah. Till next time.
Until next time.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the 5G podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.
We're available on all social medias, as well as you can watch or listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts.
Again, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks.